Hello, my name is Alexia, and today I will be speaking alongside Iram and Jared regarding Second Step. Okay, so an overview of the program. Second Step is a research-based social emotional learning, otherwise known as SEL curriculum for grades K through 12 that is designed to help students develop essential social and emotional skills for success in school and life. Some of the topics the curriculum covers include the importance of emotions, bullying, mental health, goal setting, relationships, self-esteem, and other related topics. Each grade focuses on a different set of topics that are specific to that developmental age, as evidenced by Kohlberg's theory of moral development that is broken down to three different levels. The first one being pre-conventional morality, which is ages 0 to 9 and includes stage 1, which is obedience and punishment, followed by stage 2, individualism and exchange. Then there's the second level, which is conventional morality, which includes early adolescence to adulthood and includes stage 3, developing good interpersonal relationships, and stage 4, maintaining social order. Lastly, there's the post-conventional morality, which includes some adults and has stage 5, social contract and individual rights, and stage 6, universal principles. So, for example, a kindergarten class who is in stage 1, obedience and punishment, might focus on building social skills such as apologizing, while a sixth grade class who is in stage 3, developing good interpersonal relationships, would be learning about respectful communication, already having some social skills built. The curriculum is a tier 1 intervention within the MTSS framework, as it's a program that is meant to reach all grades throughout a school or district-wide. Lessons are typically 30 minutes long for at least one day out of the week and does not require any kind of activity prep, as each lesson is detailed with a script for facilitators to follow and includes visuals such as videos and pictures. Lessons can be accessed through digitally through their website or physically through kit-based programs. Second Step also offers a curriculum called SEL for Adults, as studies have shown that a teacher's mental well-being is a strong predictor of classroom quality, but it's not required for facilitators to complete the training to be able to successfully carry out a lesson. A real-life account from a full-time school social worker within the Lemon Grove School District, where Second Step is implemented district-wide across all grades digitally, states lessons are relatively straightforward for teachers, and she ensures that teachers are able to log in and navigate lessons, and even offers to model a lesson if needed. For new incoming teachers who may need additional support, she teaches Second Step weekly for their class. She also stated that kids at her school site seem to generally enjoy the program as it gives them a break from academics and they find the videos engaging. She also stated it gives students the opportunity to learn how to talk about their emotions in order to regulate their feelings, as it might be something they don't do at home. All right, moving on to justifying the need for the program. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, many students were not exposed to any kind of socialization due to the mandated lockdown, resulting in increased feelings of anxiety, loneliness, and lack of development in many interpersonal skills. A study done by the Detroit Public School Community District found that before COVID, more than half of student respondents experienced symptoms of anxiety or depression, suggesting that SEL programs were needed even before the pandemic. Post-COVID, students still sense loss of learning, socialization, other increased stressors from the pandemic. And for many students, SEL wasn't offered during remote learning, making it difficult for students to progress as they should have with their development of self-control, self-awareness, and overall compliant behavior. Next, schools focus on creating an inclusive and safe environment for every student. As a result, many have implemented zero tolerance policies, which have targeted students of color more than their white counterparts, leading to racial inequities. On the other hand, SEL curriculum, like Second Step, takes a more restorative justice approach that empowers students with their tools and skills needed to navigate their emotions and make responsible decisions instead of undermining their autonomy. According to the Learning Policy Institute, suspensions and expulsion rates in school districts where SEL programs are implemented are less compared to districts where SEL is not offered. And lastly, it's important for schools to adopt trauma-informed practices. SEL programs such as Second Step can play a critical role in this. Trauma-informed SEL curriculums empowers a student's agency by making them feel heard, seen, and valued. The Crisis Prevention Institute states more than half of all young people have reported exposure to violence or abuse, and by the age of 16, more than two-thirds will have experienced a traumatic event. By implementing Second Step curriculum as a Tier 1 intervention, students will at least gain some experience in processing difficult emotions, and it's a perfect segue into Tier 2 interventions if more in-depth services are needed. And now I'll pass it on to Jared to discuss further research evidence.
Excellent. Yeah. So for some of the research evidence that we found, I wanted to look into four articles. So the first one is a systematic review of Second Step, social emotional skills program in middle schools. This article basically just talked about the quality and rigor of the current evidence base for Second Step in middle schools. And it also addressed the risk factors of like a predisposition for violence among students who haven't yet developed SEL skills and emotional regulation. In terms of the effectiveness of this, students that were exposed to Second Step had their aggression decreased, social aggression for all students, and then physical and verbal for eighth grade students. And then additionally, students also had a decreased probability of physical aggression. And then the eighth grade students exhibited decreased social difficulty. And this also includes students with disabilities. The second one I looked into was an efficacy trial for Second Step, and this one is going to apply to preschool classrooms. The effectiveness for this one, children from disadvantaged backgrounds or who are neurodivergent might lack executive function, EF skills, and social emotional SE skills. And then data from this study showed that the Second Step early learning curriculum improved their overall executive functioning and their social emotional, and also improved their general cognition compared to the students who had not received Second Step curriculum. So we're seeing some differences. Next slide, please. The third article, the impact of social emotional learning and trauma-informed care on teacher well-being and capacity in the classroom. So research from this study indicated that most of the teachers that implemented social emotional learning programs ended up scoring higher in their own self-awareness of their surroundings and their personal accomplishments than in the comparison group. And then teachers in other educational settings with SEL programs reported feeling better supported in handling challenging behaviors, and they also experienced a higher job satisfaction. And then lastly, virtual middle school teacher perceptions of social emotional learning on student engagement. And this one kind of talked about SEL during COVID-19 and the effectiveness for this one. So with SEL instruction and strategies, students benefited from increased emotional well-being, enhanced engagement, and the building of essential skills like self-regulation and learning how to have that effective communication in the virtual learning world. So for some of the challenges or barriers that we identified, I wanted to look at limitations from each of the articles. So the first one, limitations from this study, included a lack of research and the author wanting to identify more evidence or articles that kind of evaluated interventions at the middle school level. So just trying to find more evidence for that. Our second article, while the second article acknowledges the physiological and maybe genetic components to self-regulation skills, most what they found was that most of the regulatory skills can also be affected by environmental changes and changes in the home. So a lot of the like ACEs, Article 3, many educators identified that they encountered these disruptive behaviors on a daily basis. And it's often challenging for a lot of teachers in learning how to handle these behaviors because they're not fully equipped to teach SEL or emotional regulational skills to their students. And then lastly, the number of students that will participate in SEL curriculum and Second Step may be relatively low. I feel like there should also be like other ways to encourage our students to participate in second step, like maybe offering incentives or something. And then these are just general themes and challenges and barriers that we found. So the first one is limited time and resources. Most teachers may not feel adequately prepared or trained enough to teach SEL concepts, um, though they might feel like it's made more for like the social workers or the counselors or other staff. And then there's also time constraints. It can be hard to add a full like second step lesson into like the regular day. You have to like plan out like time for that. And then in addition to the regular instruction time can definitely be like tough. And then for funding, schools may not have enough funding for SEL educators, school social workers to fully fund their lesson plans and have those activities ready for students. I feel like there like might be a lot that kind of can go into second step. And then lastly, there is this resistance to change. So students, parents, teachers, other staff might not want to adopt these new second step programs or teach their kids SEL curriculum. And it could be seen as just doing more work on top of the teaching that they're already doing. All right. So I'll go ahead and hand it off to Aaron.
Thanks, Jared. So, when I was researching like the different sample activities, there are different sample activities for kinder through fifth, and I just chose a second grade lesson for the sample activity. And this activity is called The Way to Solve a Problem. And the whole lesson includes a presentation with video samples and visual samples, and as well as a handout. The lesson also includes teacher instructions and scripting of the lessons so the students can follow along. The videos consist of brain builders. They are also practice videos on how to handle certain situations. And then they also offer visuals of different scenarios. And the exit lesson is basically the handout that they have. So this is the brain builder video, and it's like a minute or so. Can you hear?
Time to build your brain. You're going to play level 1 of a game called Turn Your Attention. Here's what you'll do. After I say turn your body to face the direction that the middle fish is swimming. After I say face me, turn back to face the front and look at the screen. Okay, you try it. Here comes the first picture. Turn. Face me. 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 Excellent work.
And that's just the end of the brain builder. So then these two videos, oh, they're playing at the same time. Yeah, pause this. Thank you. These are the examples of the different scenarios for the kids to follow along. You can play the first one, please.
Naya, watch out! You never watch where you're going. What? I didn't do anything. What's your problem? You broke my truck into a million pieces. You did it on purpose. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. You're always breaking my stuff. That was my last green one. Now I can't finish. Well, you shouldn't leave your things in the way. You break stuff too, you know.
So the first video just demonstrates how like the kids are communicating, and the second one will demonstrate like a better form of communication between the kids.
Hey, Maya, you stepped on my chalk. Now it's in a bunch of pieces. Oh, I'm sorry, Jed. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. Thanks for saying you're sorry. I have some green chalk. You want to borrow mine? Yeah, thanks.
These are just part of the visuals, the video visuals that are in the sample activity. And then, I mean, in the lesson plan. And then these are the practice visuals just so like the kids can review them as well. And then this is another activity that goes along with the handout that the teachers go over with their kids. So then for the outcome measures, there's social emotional skill development. Um, there's a program-specific meta-analysis, helps the teachers review various studies on specific programs to find the best prevention and intervention strategies for the students. So there are different, like the sample activities that the teachers can pick from. And then there's also the tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. There are behavioral improvements. So behavior patterns can greatly influence students' academics and potentially leading to anxiety, fear, and social withdrawal. So second step will help the students with all of these and help improve their behavior. And there's also improvement in academic performance. So different lesson plans demonstrate the importance of academics and attendance. So the modules can also be flexible and implemented in short periods, integrated into the curriculum, which also increases the chances of ongoing implementation. And it's easier for the teachers. And as I mentioned, assisting the students understanding the importance of missing school and the impact. So the tracking progress, we went with Panorama. It is a monitoring program that provides tools and resources for schools to gather feedback from students, teachers, and families. It also focuses on measuring student engagement, social emotional learning, and the school atmosphere through surveys and data analysis. Panorama also inquires about student skills in managing their emotions and dealing with positive feelings and challenging feelings. Panorama surveys also include questions regarding various emotions and the support systems available to the students. Panorama assists schools with establishing the MTSS, the multi-tiered support system, or for targeted students interventions. And it also gathers academic, behavioral, attendance and survey data to assist educators in supporting the students. Panorama also, for kinder through second grade, the teachers provide their observations on the students' progress, while students in grades third through sixth complete the surveys themselves. And these are just visuals from Panorama of the different tracking progress. So they have the academics, or they also on the left side, and then on the right side, it's a different form or visual of how their progress is being increased or decreased. But you can also do SEL. And then these are just more ways of tracking their progress. And you can see like the little charts. And on the right side, there's the overview for academics or attendance and behavior and SEL as well. And that concludes our presentation.